Welcome to
That
the
was
Footy
tough.
Forum, mate. We do not play around.
Dad, this is for you. You know, this is for you. Literally, within 5 minutes of getting to know me, it crops up. The blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah.
Very good point. That is a very good
That
point.
also brought up the sacrifice that you have made.
And name them all as well.
No, he's joking. He's joking.
For my brother, for my mother,
Wow.
This could be major.
Wow.
for the whole family, and
Oh,
I was gonna give a
I'm
compliment.
so glad you said
Right
that.
at-
sorry, I'm getting. Oh no!
Okay.
Don't do that. Dad, this is for you.
Looks like he's holding it.
Wow. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TFF Plus One. It's been a while since I've done that. I think Morgan's been introducing the situations for the last few months. But today we have a special guest, an interesting guest from my perspective, because I do not know too much about this field, so I'm excited for Nunodaman to be the expert and talk to us all about TikTok and his journey through there. Nuno, what's going on, man? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's a real pleasure.
No worries. We're excited.
Looking forward
Yeah,
to
so
it.
I mean, first place to start, we always like doing a couple icebreakers. So,
Cool.
I mean, starting off very, very briefly, do you want to just introduce yourself, what your real name is, kind of how old you are, where you're from, etc.?
Cool, no problem. So my name's Noah Alaye, aka Nunodaman. I'm from Liverpool, northwest England, and yeah, what do I do? I make TikToks. I mean,
Is that like
before
your full-time thing now, or is it still like a part-time hobby and you work as well on the side?
It is and it isn't, because my TikTok creation and my actual job go hand in hand. So I'm a trained actor. I graduated last summer, so TikTok for me was basically just trying to keep myself busy creatively during lockdown, because obviously the industry, along with everything else, the acting industry shut down because of lockdown. So I was like, what can I do to keep my creative juices flowing? Let me make videos on the internet and put them out and see what happens there. I mean, I didn't really plan for it to be anything major, but here we are. I'm being invited to podcasts.
Taking something you love, acting, and tying it in with because in an ideal world you'd love to just do acting around football all the time, but taking what you love, acting, and doing it in something that you're very passionate about in football, that's like quite a sick combo. So I'm sure you've absolutely loved kind of doing it and seeing it not only just doing it but seeing it blow up, to some degree.
Yeah, definitely.
So my question is, you start, okay, lockdown, Boris Johnson, everything's closed down, and how do you go from obviously just getting on TikTok and now today, as we speak, 166,000 followers, millions of likes. Tell us a little bit about that journey. How did you expect? Obviously, you didn't expect that coming in. Maybe you did. Maybe did you have much of a career in acting before that, or has this been the big kind of success, the first of many successes for you?
A bit of both. So like I said, I was a recent graduate. I mean, Boris kind of shut everything down like midway through my third year in drama school. So basically it's the same as a uni course, but obviously we do things like pretending to be frogs rather than writing theses.
It's very in person, I would assume, no?
Yeah,
Very
it is.
practical.
Very,
Very
very
practical,
so.
I would say.
Very, very, very practical. I think we've only done like one written exam proper, so it's nice. So I was fortunate enough actually to get my first acting job whilst I was still training, and off the back of that, I got an agent. So I was pretty much sorted in terms of like a future in the career almost. So it was just getting my degree and being free so I could pursue other things with the help of my agent and stuff like that. And then obviously coronavirus came, and I got my agent told me that the industry is going to shut down essentially, so be prepared not to hear from us for the foreseeable future, because literally there are no jobs going. So I was like, okay, let me start almost creating my own sort of content, you know, because I've always wanted to like create like skits or whatever. I've always been, you know, interested in that sort of thing. So in the early days, it was just me goofing around on TikTok, like jumping on trends, making crazy videos or whatever.
Jumping around like a frog, perhaps, or what?
The frog aspect didn't come into it. You know what? I should do that. I should bring that back because I did very. It was an assessment.
Yeah,
rather
I reckon
than
a team of frogs would do better than Newcastle. That's just what I think.
that might actually. Yeah, I could see that happening. Maybe Steve Bruce should his local quarry. But yeah, so I was just creating videos, and then I think I made one football-related video because obviously I'm a massive football fan, and then that video did like really well. Like I'm talking like my first 1 million views, and I'm like interesting.
Wow.
So I made alongside like the sporadic content that I was making before, I started to like drop a couple of football videos here and there, and then I started to notice that the football videos were doing a lot better than like the normal average content. So I was like, you know what, let me make this full time. So I think I reached like, I think it was like 40,000, where I was like, you know what, out of this 40,000 that I've got on TikTok, like a good like 30,000 of that is like football fans. So I'm gonna start making football content only, and yeah, the rest is history from there.
Awesome. Okay, a question I have to ask, because so obviously you're a Chelsea fan, you shout about it, you've got something right behind that lovely head of yours. But you're from Liverpool. Let's try untangle this a bit.
Every time. Every time. It's a story that I literally within 5 minutes of getting to know me, it crops up. Oh, how are you? What's your name? My name's Noah. Oh, where are you from? Liverpool. Okay. Oh, do you like football? Yes, I do. What team do you support? Chelsea. Explain. So like I've almost developed my own script, as it were. So here's that script. So I was actually born in Nigeria, and my parents moved to this country when I was 2. So we moved to Liverpool when I was 2, and my parents literally have no affiliation with football whatsoever. Normally people like they support their dad's team, or you know, their mum's team, or their dad takes them to games. There was none of that in my house. My parents don't watch football apart from the occasional time where the Nigerian national team plays, and my mum's even vowed to stop watching the Nigerian national team play because we're pretty much the Arsenal of national teams. It's
Oh,
I was gonna give a compliment.
So glad you said
Right
that.
as you were about to say that, man. I was
It
gonna
had
talk
to be
the
said.
jersey. The jerseys, Nigerian national teams.
Two birds with one stone, Nuno.
yes.
Shocking.
Jesus.
Question is, do you own one of those jerseys?
I own all of them, actually.
Oh,
I
my.
own well, not all of them. I own like the last 3 or 4. Like I own obviously the World Cup kit that was
Oh, beautiful kit.
that World Cup kit, and then the new one. My uncle sent that over last year. So and I think I own like 2 from like one from like 2000 and is it the I don't remember, but basically I own a lot because we make some very good kits. We do.
Mm.
Yeah, this is true. This is, if only it could translate to the pitch.
Yes.
Arsenal don't even make good kits, so they haven't even got that going for them. But yeah, let's hear the script.
So yes, so my parents don't have any affiliation to football. So when it came to like, and I didn't grow up watching football. Like I was more creative in that sense. Like I would draw. I'd write my own stories. I'd just like creating stuff. So, and then everybody around me was like football crazy because obviously I was in Liverpool, and you know Liverpool has a massive football fan base anyway. So I think I was like 10 or 11, and I was playing. My favorite color was blue, so that's take from that what you will. And it still is.
Everton.
Yeah.
Very good point. That is a very good
That
point.
is also brought up. So that when people ask me why not Everton, I'm like, I
The
genuinely
shoes
have
and
no
blues
answer.
work for you?
Glory
There's
Hunter.
no. Yes, no, genuinely. People ask me, I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll say it for you. I am a glory hunter.
Owns it. Love it.
I respect that. Matt Lockwood did the same. He owned up and said, I am a glory hunter. But no, to
Yeah.
be fair, there's glory hunters in the blood where they'll just follow glory, like they'll hop on Man City or something. There's glory hunters who pick a team at a time, but then stick with them, despite they're not always going through that kind of stage of like having lots of glory in that, which Chelsea have had over the last kind of 5 years or so. So
I think
credit where
that's
credit's
normal.
due.
I think that's normal in everyone. I think the reason why I support Arsenal is because they were good back when I had followed them. Now they're shocking. Now I still have to.
They're so bad.
They're
suck.
not. They're not that bad.
So we've got 2 Arsenal fans. We've got a West Ham fan.
West
Alex
Ham.
So Alex has just joined our podcast very recently, and she declared her following for West Ham in her first episode. So that was quite big. And I'm weirdly enough a Leeds fan. So it's a bit random,
Yeah.
but yeah, obviously a big season for me. One more question before I pass it over to Dan. It's actually a non-football related question that we just love asking. So if you're Prime Minister for a day, Boris stepped down, you had to step up for Prime Minister, what would be the first law you would change?
The first law I would change. That is a very good question.
Is
Wow. I don't know. I'd probably make uni fees exempt because
Oh.
I was in,
Yes.
in debt that I'm still paying back for, even though I literally graduated like 3 minutes ago. But the amount of money that like I had to pay, my parents had to pay, and it's even more money because of the training that I did, you know, privately, drama school, that sort of stuff. There was a lot more fees involved, so I'd probably abolish uni fees because what do they really need the money for? Like
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
that much
You
money.
have to have
as
some
well,
good
like,
gardens around campus.
Yeah. Yeah, well, would you believe me if I told you that Dan said he'd let everyone rob any store they want? That would be his law.
That
For a day. For 1 day.
Welcome to the podcast.
So like the Purge Robbery Edition.
yeah, I was gonna say it's very purdy. Yeah.
Own it. I'm going to start owning this answer now. I don't think there's much
You've
wrong
got
with
to,
it.
mate. You've got to, mate. It's
have a
not going
choice.
away. I think it's been, 10 episodes since you
It's-
said it?
it's
It
on the
hasn't gone
internet now.
anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah, nah, it keeps being brought up, so...
You've got to own it, mate.
Yeah, so Nuno, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this year's Premier League. Obviously, it's been a bit of an interesting one, to say the least. There's been a lot going on. As a Chelsea fan, it sort of went downhill, but now it looks like to be going sort of upwards now in form.
Brick wall.
Thomas Tuchel seems to be doing quite the job. But what are your thoughts on the season as a whole, and then sort of your team Chelsea? How do you think they got on this year?
So I mean, this Premier League season is just crazy. I mean, the moment Aston Villa put 7 past Liverpool, I was like, okay, something. This isn't normal. And like I stopped predicting football matches on that very day because I was like, I can't, because I always used to get predictions wrong. Number one, I was never close, but like that just showed me that like anything's possible. Like it was crazy. So I mean, football's obviously been in a very strange place, obviously with the whole pandemic and, you know, the bubbles and players testing positive, managers testing positive, games being postponed and whatnot. So it's all been very, very hectic. But I think we're slowly getting used to it now, which is weird because soon, apparently, it's going to be over and there's, you know, what comes with that and, you know, shifting back to normality, whatever normality looks like these days. But I think that the Premier League is as exciting as ever with these in these times. You know, it's always exciting. Nothing beats, you know, waking up on September the 9th or whenever it is, and, you know, after the long summer holidays and being like, yes, the Premier League is back, you know, and this season hasn't disappointed in that regard. In terms of Chelsea, we started all right, I guess. I mean, under Frank Lampard at the start of the season, we weren't doing too badly, but then things truly went sour and
Downhill.
we had to say goodbye to our best ever player, which was someone like me who grew up in the mid to twilight years of Frank Lampard's career. it was somewhat difficult, but for like the older guys who, you know, grew up with Frank Lampard from like 2002 or whatever,
Yeah.
it was difficult for them.
I was gonna
But-
say, hold that thought before you keep going, because me and Dan did an immediate reaction to the sacking of Frank Lampard, a little bit of breaking news sort of thing, and you know, our initial reaction was maybe he didn't get enough time, because when you bring on a manager like Frank Lampard with such little experience, you know that these sorts of things are gonna take time. But then, you know, in reflection, and we said this kind of on the next episode we did, that like at the same time, Chelsea, for their sort of team, they gave him, to their kind of their standards, they gave him a lot of time. If you look at what time the other managers have had, they did give him a lot of time for Chelsea standards, and it wasn't, and it was clear that it wasn't until they felt like there was kind of no turning back that they decided, you know, with a lot of regret, to do it. So in hindsight, maybe it was actually the right decision, and clearly it is because of what Tuchel has done. But what were your immediate reactions to Frank Lampard's sacking? The very immediate. Were you like, "Oh, this is too soon. This is wrong," or do you think it was the right decision?
A bit of both, because I was in the camp of, when things started to go sour, I was like, yes, things are going sour, but maybe we do need to give him time to turn it around. I was under the impression of, you know what, let's give him to the end of the season. Let's see what happens. We're not going to win anything anyway, because Man City had just started, you know, being dominant, and they started running away with it. And I was like, we're not going to win the Premier League. Probably not going to win the FA Cup. We got knocked out of the League Cup as well, and yeah, we're probably not going to win anything anyway. So let's just see how this goes. Let's give him to the end of the season. If he turns it around, then fair dues. If he doesn't, fair dues, he goes. So I was shocked. It was my initial reaction was, I think I posted, I was like, this could backfire on us heavily, because sacking a manager halfway through a season, the players have been working with him for 18 months, they're used to his tactics, it could disrupt the harmony of the club, you know, performances could be even worse. And when I saw that we were linked with Thomas Tuchel, I was like, okay, that's a good manager. I mean, it made the most sense because he was out of the job at the time. So I was like, he's probably going to be our manager. And initially, I was a bit hesitant. I was like, okay, what's he going to do? That first game with Wolves, I was like, okay, yes, he's had a day, but like the lineup was completely alien to what we'd expect. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi was playing right wing back. I was like, what are you doing here? And it's been, I mean, he's proved me wrong. I mean, the amount of lineups he's come out with, and I'm being like, why is, like, honestly, I was nearly angry the day I saw Marcus Alonso's name in the starting lineup. I was like, why is he playing? Like, what? But then he scored that game and he started kissing the badge. I'm like, Marcus, you are such a waste man, because like. And then honestly, performances have just been good since then, and I can't complain. He's come in and he's done a great job, and we don't look like we're going to lose.
The depth really well.
Yeah,
he
does.
That's a skill. Look at what Pep does at City. They have great depth, but it's the way you use it, and you don't just have like more players to play at a certain point, but actually like rotate and utilize the depth in an effective way. For sure. If you had to, and this is a tough question, but if you had to pinpoint on the pitch, obviously it's very clear they're not conceding goals and they're scoring goals each game. That's why they're winning. But if you had to pinpoint on the pitch what Tuchel has done, that you've seen a big difference, what would be like the main thing that's allowing them to have so much success at the moment?
I would say it is the defence, you know, playing five at the back, obviously. And who's playing five at the back as well, because under Frank Lampard, Aspi was getting rotated in like every other 3 games for Reece James. Christensen and Rudiger weren't even playing. And if you look at the style of football that we play now, it's very possession-based, and those are the guys that you want to retain possession. You've got Christensen, who's a great passer of the ball. Rudiger's a great progressor of the ball as well. Kurt Zouma suffered, and you can see why Kurt Zouma has suffered, because he isn't as good of a passer of the ball as those two. And I think that's been key, because, you know, we've been controlling games, we've been shutting teams out, and also the middle of the park as well, Jorginho and Kovacic, you know, being the ball retaining players that they are. So I think possession is the key thing that's changed. Under Frank Lampard, it was just like get the ball out to the wings and cross and hope for the best. But now we're building possession through the middle of the park as well. Granted, Timo Werner still isn't scoring, which is, you know, unfortunate. But he is looking a lot more lively, and he's creating chances, and yeah, I think possession mainly is the big thing that's changed.
Yeah, no, and it looks like they have control of a game now. It's completely
Yeah.
different. Before with Lampard, you'd watch them and you think, okay, even if they're up 2-0, like it didn't feel like they had control of a game. But now you
No.
watch them, they're in absolute control of every game they play.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you this: do you believe that Frank Lampard would have won you the title in the next, if he was there, would he have won you the title in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Because I asked myself the same question. I'm like, I'm not sure. But then there's a backup to that. So I want to get your initial thoughts on that question. Do you honestly believe that he would have brought you silverware?
No. I think that eventually he would have been let go, because people always used to bring up the argument, oh, Klopp was given time. Klopp was given 6 or how many years before he won anything. But then my counter argument to that would be, Klopp was already a proven manager. Klopp was managing when Lampard was still playing, at a very top level in Germany. And Klopp had a system, and Klopp came in, and it took him time, yes, to implement that system, but he had a system.
And
With
they were
Lampard,
mightily close, for years.
yeah, they were.
Well, let's look at how about Steven Gerrard. So for me, that's almost a like for like. So you look at, okay, you might say Chelsea's a bigger club than Rangers. I would obviously agree to a certain extent, but in terms of the mentality of the club, Rangers is a massive football club with huge expectations. They're just as success driven as any Chelsea fan, and also Chelsea in the Chelsea a winning. Serial winners, basically what I look at it. They change things when it's not going well. They're not scared of loyalty as it showed. So in terms of the expectation, I think Steven Gerrard was under immense pressure once he got the job, and I think he's been there now 3. I could be wrong. 3 years, maybe, and now going in his 4th year. And look what he did. I mean, he maybe he caught Celtic in a bad patch as well, but he's actually done something amazing without that background of years and years of experience at a club like Mainz, like for Jurgen Klopp, Mainz and Dortmund. So my thing is, I agree with you. I don't know if he would, but just because we're talking the Scottish Premier League and the Premiership, which I think is really tough when you have Man City and I mean Liverpool until about the last few weeks. So I don't think he would have either, but you never know what can happen, right? I mean, Frank Lampard also had the time. Pretty good success, you would say, at Derby as well.
Yeah, I mean, that Derby season was... Yeah, it was good. And I still maintain that it was probably a bit too soon for Frank Lampard to take the Chelsea job. I still think that he should have had experience in another league, like what Gerrard is doing currently at Rangers. And it was a very romantic signing. It was very, great. Our greatest ever player is coming back to lead us to the promised land. It's something straight out of a Netflix TV series. It's beautiful on paper.
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the All or Nothing series they have on Amazon. I don't know if you guys have those or whatever,
100%.
but yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true to jump in and not all players make good managers. Like there's a certain set of skills that are required to coach a team, to guide a team, and it doesn't work for everyone. And me, I'm a soccer coach and former player, so that's a conversation that I have with people all the time. Like just because you played doesn't mean you can just go and set up some academy and people need to follow you into the sunset because you've played. You have to be able to connect to players and not have some bias and be able to understand that the way you play might not work for the team. And clearly the way Lampard was looking at Chelsea, it wasn't working for the team because in terms of possession, you can see they have confidence in the direction they're going now and having confidence to keep the ball. And there was this lack of misguided direction, I feel at the beginning half of the season.
Yeah. 100%.
So yeah.
But to that as well, I also think Frank Lampard will probably go on and have a good good coaching career. I'd imagine. I mean, when you coach Chelsea, I mean, obviously he's going to go there. He's going to take a job. Who's not going to take the job if you're given? But I also think that experience, he's probably going to reap the rewards of the pressure that Chelsea. Maybe when he goes, I don't know. There's talks of him going to going to Celtic. Actually, I don't think that's gonna happen. But again, imagine
No
he's
chance.
at Celtic. Gerrard,
Frank Lampard, Gerrard. Wow.
That's amazing.
That'd be a
I
good
think that would
game.
be an amazing club for him to be at because the pressure's still on. I don't buy it when they say, okay, the pressures aren't there because it's the Scottish Premier League. No, I think the fan bases of both Glasgow clubs are huge. But again,
Yes.
when you're playing on the weekend in Ross County, that's different. Okay. But no, let's get into a little bit of an interesting thing. We always talk about it, and I mean Chelsea is a massive example in terms of the women's side. I think they got and Alex, chime in here if I'm wrong, but I think they got one of the best women's sides in the world. No,
Yeah, we do.
for the women's side.
I'm always curious when I talk to people and they say they're an Arsenal fan or they say they're, Liverpool or Wolves or Man City or whatever it is. I'm always curious, and not to like set people up or bait people into some like feminism kind of conversation, but like, do you follow your women's side? Like, are you aware of the success they're having kind of thing? And do you watch it? And so, yeah, so I guess by the smile, you kind of showed that you do know how well the women's side's doing.
Yes.
So that's exciting to see and hear. But do you have a lot of like, I'm sure you have a bunch of Chelsea friends, mates, whatever, that you talk about with the game. Like, are they all aware of how the women's side's doing, or is that you're just kind of like a rarity?
We do. Funnily enough, when Frank Lampard got sacked, there was talk of Emma Hayes actually taking over, and like none of
Oh,
us were
really?
like against that because she hasn't lost a football game for like something crazy like 3 years. So I was like, you know what, she probably
Yeah.
is a better coach than Frank Lampard. So I wouldn't be against taking Emma Hayes as the head coach for the men's team. But no, Chelsea women's are doing amazing. We just are, like, it's amazing what Emma Hayes has done as well. And she herself was I'm not sure which club it was, but she was actually up for a job in the men's game, which I think is brilliant because, like,
Was it?
I think so. I think it was.
Yeah.
Because, like, when it comes to football, obviously football is, a male-dominated sport, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be. It's a game that's literally can be played by anyone. So why can't anybody manage? It makes no sense when there's this divide of gender or whatever. So I do follow the women's team. I think we lost recently. I can't remember, but I couldn't watch that game. But we are doing very, very well.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, I think. But you guys are doing well in like Champions League and stuff like that. What do you
Yes.
think? Yeah, in terms of like, I mean, you're a fan, but what do you think it would take for other people to maybe jump on and watch? Do you think there's something that, because it is male dominated, so what do you think the female game needs to do to kind of attract people more, aside from like the grandeur of it? But do you think it's a tough one because you're,
It is a very tough one because I really don't think that the women's game can do much more than it is, with what it's been given in terms of like, I think a big thing is obviously like the amount of money that goes into the men's game and the amount of money that goes into the women's game is on different levels. So I think the women are doing amazing, and it's just in terms of like interest, it is what it is. Like,
Is it a
people don't wanna
mentality?
watch.
Is it a mentality
Yeah,
then?
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that, like, oh, it's women's football, women can't play football. No, it's football being played
It's
by
a different
women.
type of football. People
Exactly.
think that
People need
it's
to recognise
worse. It's people look at it that it's worse than men's football. It's not worse. It's different. It's very different football because of the way women play football, because of the way women are, physically in terms of their attributes and things like that. It's a different. They play a different game. Okay, it's football, but it's a different game to watch. So if people start
How do you
appreciating
think
football,
you watch?
pardon.
In what ways are you talking about?
It's less physical and it's a bit more skill based if you watch it, because of the way men are different to women, but it makes it for a different game and things like that. So I think people need to stop thinking of women's football as a kind of a lesser of the men's football, but more so of a different type of a game, like a different type of football, and appreciate
And the way-
it in a different way and not trying to directly compare one or two.
Yeah. The way I look at it too, like, I mean, when I watch women's football, like, I find it way more scrappy. Like, they're much more willing to pull hair and get the elbow in the back
I think
and
it's
that sort of
physical.
thing.
I think it is.
But when I look at the difference, right, like, yeah, because of our physiology, we might not be able to actually kick the ball as far, or we might not be able to get on to the end of that pass that someone's ripped down the line just because, you know, speed's a thing. And so I feel like in the women's game, it requires a lot more problem solving, where you couldn't always you can just flick the ball and cross it to the other side and someone's going to sprint on and have that speed to get it. It's not always going to work like that. And it doesn't mean it's worse. It just means that we have to be more prepared to problem solve on the field. So yeah. It is totally different. And to kind of like jump on what I think certain clubs are doing to kind of push it forward, I think Man City is a perfect example of how they've created a culture. And it's really interesting because they've created that culture using social media. And I think that's super relevant with having you on the podcast today. And what their approach they've taken is that all of their football content, male and female, is on the same account on Instagram. So if you're a Man City men's fan, you're going to see the women's content because you follow the account. Whereas almost every single other club in the women's in the WSL, they all have separate accounts. So you have to really be a Chelsea women's fan, you know, to follow their account and see what they're up to. And so I think Man City's done a good way of using social media to kind of bridge the gap. And so it's interesting, like you have to force some people at first to get exposed to it. But then I usually see, like, you know, it kind of grows the community because they're forced to see the content. So then they're a little more willing to check it out, right?
That's a great point. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Right, so now we're going to do something we love doing, very fun. I mentioned it when we were messaging you. So this game we play, called the No Name Football Game.
Alright, so it's now time for the first half of the No Name Football Game. So we've got Alex against Nuno or Noah. So let's get into it. Okay. Alright, so we'll start with Noah's goalkeeper. So once Alex has sent her answer to Jovan, we'll take...
Yeah.
It's done already? Okay, so Noah, where are you going, mate? What right back, centre half, or left back?
Gonna give it to my left back.
Okay, so Noah presses the left back.
The press has gone the wrong way, and the left back will receive the ball and look to go forward.
Lovely.
Okay, so 3 options now. Centre mid, left mid, or right mid. Where are you going?
Let's just hold up.
Oh, sorry. 2 secs. Oh, good. Okay, yeah, where are you going?
Right mid.
Switch.
Right mid.
A complete switch as they look to get compact in the centre, and it will go to the right midfielder.
Lovely.
Okay, so right wing striker or left wing?
Right wing.
You got me.
Unfortunately, the defence looks a little bit shattered here as the right wing will have the ball in the first scoring chance of the game.
Wow, as easy as that. So your right winger now has the ball with a chance to score. All you have to do is answer this question correctly. Are you ready?
Here we go.
This is your question. Okay, we're going to start with Chelsea. I think there's no better place to start. So, Jose Mourinho holds the 2 longest spells for both the spells as Chelsea manager under Roman Abramovich. But behind that, which manager has the next longest spell in terms of number of games? Is it A, Antonio Conte? Is it B, Maurizio Sarri? Is it C, Carlo Ancelotti? Or is it D, Frank Lampard?
Frank Lampard.
Okay.
You've got some time to think
It's
it through.
this is a good question. I like this question. But it's just
It is, because
Conte.
for me, it can only be 2 people, but I just don't know who is here long.
Which ones? Which ones are you thinking?
It's between Ancelotti and Conte, right?
Okay.
I mean, you
You've
wouldn't-
narrowed it down. You've got the 50-50.
Who was here longer?
Pretty close, I must say. Jeez.
Yeah,
Gut reaction.
You know
think
what?
it's a
I'm gonna
couple.
go for Conte.
Absolutely as close as it gets. The goalkeeper
Oh.
makes an amazing save, goes off the crossbar, off all the bars in the goal, and it will go out for a goal. Goal kick.
Oh, mate, that's tough. Yeah, so Conte, 106 games. Ancelotti, 109 games.
Oh.
And
Three
what
games
makes
more.
it-
Wow.
You know what makes it even worse? You know what makes it even worse? In terms of the actual length of time they were there, Conte was actually longer. He just had less games.
That's what I was thinking. 'Cause he was here for-
That was
Oh.
a savage question.
That's a tough one. Welcome to
That
the
was
Footy
tough.
Forum, mate. We do not play around.
Oh no.
0-0. 0-0 after the first scoring chance. Nuno comes on raging at goal and is unable to put it past.
Right, let's see if Alex can launch an attack. Dan.
Yes, let's start with Alex's goalkeeper. So, Nuno, you've got to pick pressing the right back, left back, or centre half. Alex's centre half, right back, left back.
I'm gonna go with centre half.
Ball played easily out to the left full back.
Okay, so pressing Alex's right mid, centre mid, or left mid.
Left mid.
All down the line.
Puts it inside to the central. Centre mid has the ball.
Okay, centre mid. So right wing striker or left wing.
Striker.
And it is a relay race today. Back and forth battle.
End-to-end stuff.
The right wing has the ball.
Wow.
Scoring chance. This time for Alex.
Wow, so Alex can score here. Okay. I'll give you the choice. Do you want another Chelsea question or do you want a non-Chelsea question?
That Conte one really annoyed me, so I'm gonna go with the other one.
Another
Just so I
Chelsea
can prove
question.
So I can prove that I actually know the club that I support.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's your test to see if you're a real Chelsea fan.
No pressure.
Oh no,
Okay.
don't do that.
You've given him the
You said it
ultimatum.
now, mate. There's no
That was
going
unfair, Morgan.
back. There's no going back. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Chelsea have never been relegated from the Premier League. But what
Yes.
year did they earn promotion back to the First Division before it was rebranded? Is it A?
Jesus Christ.
Is it A, 83-84 season? Is it B, 86-87 season? Or is it C, 88-89 season? He's like, why did I ask for this?
That's a tough question.
That is tough. Wow.
I'll understand if you let me score.
I am gonna.
It's a tough one because, like, obviously older Chelsea fans would tell you in 2 seconds, but it's these younger Chelsea fans. How many know
Yeah.
that?
I am a curse to my football club. I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with A.
A, 83-84.
And we have the first goal of the game. Alex Abraham's 1, Nuno 0.
Wow. Okay. So basically, 83-84. Technically, it's partly a correct answer because they did get promoted that season. However, they got relegated again before getting promoted and staying in the top flight in 88-89 season. A couple years before it got rebranded, not long
What was
before.
it, 92? Or something when it rebranded?
92. So yeah, the last First Division was 91-92
Yeah.
when Leeds won it.
Of
So
course,
only
yeah.
like 3 years before that. So you've learned a bit about your club. There you go. You're welcome. I think because it was so fast, I think we've got time before halftime for one more attack. So
Okay.
Dan,
Yeah, so Nuno's of your goalkeeper. Let's just wait for Alex to text in her answer. So right back, left back, or centre back? Where are you going?
Right back.
Right back.
easily out to the right flank.
Wow.
Okay, nice. So now a choice
Shocking
of centre mid,
defending
left
today.
mid,
Shocking
or right
defending.
mid.
Absolutely no defending
know.
today.
Yeah.
Centre mid.
We're just playing a little
Goodness gracious.
cat and mouse here.
Inside to the central midfielder, no problems there.
Okay, last section to go through here. So left wing striker or right wing.
I'm gonna go left wing.
Ooh, last ditch defending, and we have a chance for
Ooh.
interception with the left winger.
Wow. Another
Okay,
question.
Yeah, so very simply, you get this wrong, Alex could do a quick counter-attack before the half-time whistle. You get this right, and you have a chance to equalise the game. This is a big question. This is a big question. Okay, this is your question. How many teams from Europe made it through the group stage of the 2018 World Cup? Is it A, 7, B, 10, or C, 13?
And name them all as well.
No, he's joking. He's joking.
Nuno's never coming back.
Trying to remember. might be difficult to get.
These are
I must warn my friends.
Don't worry, a lot of DMs will be sent afterwards. I'm trying to remember who. So there's, yeah, obviously, yes.
Wasn't it an upset year?
Yeah, it's how many of the smaller countries there were.
That's because I think I've gotten all the big ones.
Yeah, so put it this way, do you think there was more than 7?
I believe so.
So then you've got 10 or 13, if that's what you think.
I'm gonna go for 10 because, sure, it's a whole number.
It's a good.
I mean, they're all whole numbers, but
all right. Well, that is definitely a correct answer. 10 of the 16 teams in the final 16
Wow.
were from Europe. Little fact there is also 13 teams did qualify from Europe as well, so that's why. If you said 13, that would have been crazy. But no, 10's right. Ball now a scoring chance. The left winger has the ball and looks to equalise right before half time. Will it be? Let's see.
Okay. Ooh, I don't know. That's okay. Let's do this one. Rangers recently won the Scottish title for a world record 55th time. But who holds the record for the most domestic titles in Europe's top 5 leagues? Is it A, Juventus, B, Bayern Munich, or C, Real Madrid?
it's funny because I was looking at a stat of this the other day and I can't remember which team.
Oh no! He had it there on the platter.
And
Oh,
I'm
no.
just literally like 2 days. Like when did they win again?
Literally like the weekend, a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
and I remember
No, yeah,
seeing
because
the
Celtic drew. That's why. Yeah, literally the weekend.
Yeah, I remember seeing the graphic as well, and I can't remember who was on top.
Oh
Brilliant.
no! What are we thinking if we're trying to draw back?
It's gonna be pure guesswork,
Ruben?
and I'm gonna go.
Right.
Have you got 2 in your mind, like out of the 3? Like, have you narrowed it down to 2?
I think I know who it is.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Real Madrid.
And a second chance of the game for Nunodaman. And a second chance gone astray. The answer was Juventus. With
2 more, 36. Yeah,
Really
Wow.
again, like
he's gutted.
tough questions and
There's
close.
no acting here. He is absolutely
How many? What was the
Oh,
number?
no.
The winning number?
36
Okay.
36.
Wow.
against Real Madrid's
Yeah.
34. Wow. Was Juventus in your mind, or you were thinking more Bayern anyway?
No, it was between Juventus and Real Madrid.
Oh, that's even worse. Because I was like, at least if I didn't even have it in my mind, it's like...
Well, I was thinking Real Madrid because, it's Real Madrid, so...
I probably would have gone Madrid, to be
I would've
honest, like, if that question was put in front of me.
I mean, you all know my answer.
That's a tough one, mate.
Oh, no.
What a beauty.
I just thought
Beauty.
it was Real Madrid because they're the best,
Just
or
time
Juve
buzzing.
because it's all like old people that love Juve, So like they must have a big history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, here's the thing. I don't know if this is gonna go on the episode, but have you ever asked an Italian? Like this is shocking. And I was having this conversation yesterday. Have you ever asked an Italian, what team do you support? I swear in my life I've never heard something other than Inter, AC, or Juve. They never say, okay, I support like Morgan, Leeds. Like why don't they support shocking clubs? They just always those three.
I had one friend at school who supported Bologna because he had like
That's a real guy.
family there or some.
That guy is a real
Bologna.
Yeah.
Nah,
Wow.
he was an absolute.
That won't be good.
But credit where credit's due. Big up Josh Lee.
Yeah.
Just before we get into the second half and round off, Nuno, I mean, we just want to know kind of what's the plans going forward here. So obviously things are opening up, so hopefully you can kickstart what I feel is going to be a very, very exciting and promising acting career. But in terms of like the TikTok, what's the plan with it, going forwards?
So, funnily enough, I've had a lot more opportunities come through TikTok like this, more so than like my agents getting me stuff, which is it makes sense because the industry, it was shut down, but little things were happening. Then it opened, and then it shut down again, and now it's opening again. So it makes sense that I am getting more opportunities to do stuff that's more web based and online. Because obviously acting requires heavily on theatre and even TV stuff like film crews and like filming. Nobody can like gather up to shoot anything major, like major crews or whatever. So in terms of the TikTok, there are some opportunities that have come up that hopefully will materialize into bigger things. And the acting stuff as well, the industry is, like I said, slowly opening up again. So there's a couple of auditions that I've had and that I'm going to do. And we'll see what happens there. But it's very uncertain, like, because who knows what will happen again, whether there'll be another lockdown, God forbid. But I don't think we can deal with another one. But if there was, then
Any exciting things in the works you could share?
In terms of acting or TikTok?
Anything, mate. We'd love to hear anything.
An exclusive that I can offer you
Nice.
guys.
Oh, yes.
because
We
you've
love
been so nice to
exclusives.
me, and you've invited me onto your wonderful podcast. The Euros are coming up, obviously, and TikTok has actually partnered with the Euros to help push and promote that. So. And they were looking at some content creators to like reach out to help, obviously push the advertising of the Euros and some opportunities within that. And let's just say that a couple of things have played out in my favor, and I'll be helping TikTok cover the Euros, which is
That's
Mate,
amazing.
Wow.
That is huge.
That
is a hot
Congrats.
take. Wow.
Yeah,
Congrats,
thank
mate.
you.
That is definitely an applause there. That's
Thank you.
huge. Congrats. That's just hard
Thank you very
work
much.
coming to fruition, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, bro. Congrats.
Thank
We
you
love
very
that.
Next up is the World Cup. World Cup in Qatar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get Noah out to Qatar 2022. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yes, I would love that. That would be brilliant.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
get
hope
him
we're
out
not
there.
still in lockdown.
about. Awesome. So that's yeah, facts.
True.
Facts. So that's some huge news. Let's try and round this off with some even better news, and let's try get Nuno back in the game here.
No.
As we go now for the second half of the No Name Football Game.
So it's with Alex's goalkeeper, I believe. So yeah, Nuno, where are you going to press? Alex's right back, Alex's left back, or Alex's centre back?
Give me that left back.
He presses the left, but Alex goes right, and she looks to get the second and finish the game off.
Okay, so it's with the right back. So Nuno, you've got a choice of left mid, right mid, or centre mid.
Centre mid.
They press centrally, and the right midfielder will have the ball and look to go forward.
Ooh.
Okay, off into the attack now. So left wing, striker, or right wing.
Striker.
I'd say switch should play. I think she switched it.
She hasn't. She's gone absolutely directly down the flank and will have a
Oh,
We were both wrong. There you go.
right winger on the ball.
Power of female intelligence.
Oh gosh, tell me about it.
Um,
I'm looking at this game.
Okay, so a question here. Alex could go 2 up. Okay.
Yeah.
If it makes
Oh,
you
dear.
feel better, Nuno,
Okay.
for my introduction episode, I got every single question wrong. And that was me introducing myself to the podcast,
Yeah.
so good start.
Yeah.
That helps. Okay, let's do this. How many English teams have won the European Cup / Champions League? So Europe's biggest competition.
Right.
So that doesn't include like Europa and stuff. So just kind of whatever the Champions League was called at the time. Is it A, 5, B, 9, or C, 13? So how many, let me phrase the question just so it's clear. How many times has an English team won it?
Oh, okay. How
So
many
yeah,
times?
just so there's be any confusion. How many times has an English team won the European Cup or the Champions League? A5, B9, C13.
no.
What teams jump out as you in terms of teams that have won it a couple times?
Obviously, Chelsea have won it once.
Yeah, that was
United
a
have won it.
crazy story.
Yeah, United have won it a couple of times. Who else has won it in the Premier League? Liverpool, of course. I'm trying to think. There are other teams that have won it. Like, didn't Villa win it once?
Yes, you're correct. They did.
They did.
This is impressive.
So
There's also a team that won it back to back, 2 years in a row. Who you would never like. If you know, you know. But they're like a very kind of irrelevant team now. But they were once a powerhouse.
I have a feeling. Is it Forest?
Oh
Yeah.
God!
He knows his stuff.
Yeah. I remember seeing that stat somewhere that like Nottingham Forest have more European.
So it's fair to say that 5's out the window just by denomination. So we've got 9 or 13.
So either the 9 or the 13.
You
that's what
named
I'm
all the teams that have won. That's English teams.
That's impressive.
That's impressive.
Pretty much. You've named almost all the teams that have won. So it's just like, how many times have they won it? Liverpool's obviously a big one. How many times have Liverpool won it alone?
Oh, true. I hadn't even thought of that.
You know what? I am gonna go for 13.
Lucky number 13, and it remains 1-0 as the shot goes astray. That's a tough question.
That was well done. That was
well
well
answered.
done.
Well on, yeah.
That was
Impressive.
well done. That was great defending in the end. So Liverpool won 6 times. Man United have won it 3 times, so that's 9 alone. And then you have Forest won it back to back in the 70s twice, and then Villa, and then obviously Chelsea more recently.
Wow.
So there you go. So let's equalise now. Come on.
Yeah, so it is with your goalkeeper. So playing out to the right back, centre back, or left back.
Right back.
Right back.
And there'll be close call. Right back has the ball, and you're looking to go forward.
Okay, so centre mid, left mid, right mid. Does he switch?
Mind game.
Right mid.
sticking down the right.
Defence keeps compact centrally, and the right midfielder will take the ball and look to go forward.
Whew. Okay, here we go. One
No,
last
I'm
push.
stressed.
Left
I'm
wing
stressed.
striker
I don't know
or
what to
right wing? This is tense. I love it. I love it.
Podcasts are meant to be relaxing. Oh boy.
Oh, jeez.
You're gonna. Oh man. I want to take back my
8
answer.
times in this game, and we'll see if Nunodaman can equal.
I am going to keep it on the right.
Oh! Clutch.
That's so bold.
And a chance now to equalise the game as the right winger has the ball.
Ooh.
Line.
Damn.
That one was tough.
Where did Alex go?
Centrally.
Central.
So she was very.
Oh.
We were just
Central,
doing some.
Were you close to going striker, Nuno?
I was very close to going striker.
I thought he might go striker, to be fair.
I
thought he
nearly
might.
did. I nearly did.
I didn't think
but
you
I
were
was like,
gonna
you know what, I've
literally
gone
do
right
my
both
game plan
times.
back at me. You got me.
Right.
Wow.
I thought, why not?
Wow.
Okay. So,
There you
to
go.
equalise, here's your question. Who is the only ever player to score 5 goals in a Premier League game? Is it A, Wayne Rooney? Is it B, Jermaine Defoe? Or is it C, Darren Bent?
And Jermaine Defoe.
I don't know why, but Jermaine Defoe's name is in my head, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know what if I'm gonna trust my instincts or not. You know what? Let me trust my instincts. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, GG's. If I'm wrong,
GG's
yeah,
either way.
Defoe.
Life lessons here is trust your head, trust your gut, and with that, the game is knotted up at 1 apiece. 1-1 for Nunodaman.
Okay, should we do... It's too exciting. We got to do one final
One
attack.
last- one
Come on,
last
we got
action.
to. We've got to.
No. Oh no!
So-
It has to happen.
So
I'm
to-
like, no thanks.
So you got to
No
hang
one's
on.
got that point.
You got
No
to
one's
try and
got
intercept the ball. You got to try and intercept the ball and counter. That's your only way to
This
win
is
now.
man.
great.
This is huge. Okay.
Okay, so yes, with Alex's goalkeeper now. So Nuno, where do you want to push? Right back, left back, or centre back?
Looks like he's holding it.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Oh.
Oh, might as well be because this is tough. This is tough. Just like holding it up here. Left back.
What?
Oh Jesus! He scored, and he's pressed mighty aggressive, and he has a chance now to intercept and score.
Oh
Right
my
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
This could be major.
Wow. Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Jesus.
Here we
I
go.
beg you,
Okay.
Morgan, like me, please.
I've got you. I got you. I think this is okay. Which nation has the most Champions League titles in total from their domestic teams?
Ah.
Is it A, Germany? Is it B, Spain? Or is it C, England?
Spain.
Trust your
Confident.
instincts, kids. A chance not only to come back from one down, but to win the game now, as he's intercepted it.
Wow.
The right winger will look to finish the game. The right winger scored before, and he will look to score again. Question time.
Okay. Chance to win the game here, Nuno. He's won the ball. Can he finish it? Guys, we're going to go back to our question. This is the third time we've asked this question because it's a great question. Okay. How many English managers have won the
Oh.
Premier League? Is it A, 0, B, 2, or C, 4? English managers, not
English.
British.
0.
Wow. Cool,
This is
calm,
what-
collected.
This is one of the best in terms of clutch performances, like how he started at the game and how he ended it.
Wow.
I'm just glad I could be part of
I
it.
was-
Second half onslaught.
2-1 is the final score here in this round.
Golazo! Go, 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 go!
God.
Wow.
That was a tight game. I have to say that was brilliant. I enjoyed that.
That was maybe the best game we've had, and we've had some.
I
decent
think
games.
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
There's been some nail biters. This one.
Yeah, Jovan, you want to take the post-game interviews?
Obviously, I think from Nuno's perspective, Nuno, what will you make of this game? Obviously, you know, top start to the game. You know, conceding the goal before half time. Good end to the game. You pick up all 3 points. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. Coming into this game, we knew that it was a big game. Obviously, the stakes were high, and we knew that we were the underdogs. You know, having not been in a major final before, and coming in and pulling such a team that we hold with the utmost respect. And this just goes to show that miracles do exist. And this is why we love the sport. The sport of football is created for moments, for games, for nights like these. And I remember I was telling my father before this game, I told him, Dad, anything is possible. And he looked at me and he said, son, you go out and you put in a great performance. And that's exactly what we've done today. And I can look at the camera today and I can say, Dad, this is for you. You know, this is for you. The blood, sweat, and tears. You know, the sacrifice that you've made for not just me, for my brother, for my mother, and for the whole family. And honestly, sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional.
The tears.
Dad, this is for you.
Good luck
Football,
with
this
that,
is for you.
Alex. Good luck
Come on.
topping that. You sure that wasn't just?
Come on!
Was it just
I was
another one
gonna
of your
say, That's going
scripts?
straight to the agent.
That acting was way better than the frog. Than the frog.
Yes. Oh, it's wonderful. Honestly, it was a great performance, and I'm happy to go away with the dub. It's brilliant.
Huge.
It's amazing.
Well,
Best feeling in the world.
That will you know forever be in TFF table history. We got to get a graphic with a table because
I
obviously
know it's building
tough
up.
to figure out who.
Yeah, we'll have to get on that.
But good performance overall. I think it's a good reflection of this whole episode. Nunodaman,
Yes.
from the first moment, obviously we started this episode. Haven't known you too long. Maybe it's just a bit more than an hour now. But obviously, we can all say that we've had a great time in this episode. Learned a lot from something that is you know another perspective in football. What brings us together in this podcast is football, and there's
Yes.
so many different aspects in it. Whether you're a player, coach, in the media, supporter, even you know, which everyone is a supporter in the end of the day, whatever role they take. So, I've definitely enjoyed this episode. I think we see your career only going up from here, and I hope that you know we're glad. Obviously, we were able to learn more about you, and hopefully our listeners and viewers will get behind you and support you going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Thank you
got a new
guys.
supporter over here, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's four
I
new
was gonna say,
supporters, that's for sure.
I was
Yeah,
downloading
100%.
TikTok
Thank
on
you.
my phone as we were doing it. So
Aw.
you'll be my TFF,
Thank
and
you.
Nuno will be my first 2 follows on TikTok.
Thank you so much.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Yeah, we
100.
just launched it.
166,000 and full followers to date. Over 5 million likes on TikTok, and definitely way more success in the future. Nunodaman, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Hopefully back on the podcast.
Yes, 100%. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. You guys have been a treat, and yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm
No
looking
problem.
forward to watching it.
Big love, big love. Make sure you go follow TFF Media on Instagram. Make sure you go, if you don't already follow Noah, make sure you go follow him ASAP on TikTok. And yeah, and when you get time, make sure you follow the Footy Forum on TikTok too. We've just launched our TikTok page. Apart from that, thank you very much and take care, everyone.
See you guys.
Cheerio.